Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today might be a longer video. I am doing Alita's reading challenge. You are more than welcome to join me on my endeavors, but this is very, very personal to me and my goals, not just in the next year or even 2 years. I had to really dig deep into my soul and find like lifetime type of goals. So some of these goals we might not work on, or it might not look like much work is getting done on specific goals, but these are over my lifetime, over the next 10, 20 years. Some of them might have a smaller timeline, but we will talk about it. I was very, very inspired by Cheyenne. Will link her channel down below. She's amazing. Please go find her channel. But I was also very inspired by Cordy from the Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do. I'm sure everyone has heard of that reading challenge, but the first year, so we're in year 3 for context. Year 1, I watched all the videos. I attempted, and then I got very far behind and I decided to quit because no one is harder on me than I am. Like, I am so hard on myself, and that's the understatement of the year. Some would even say I'm mean to myself. And I have finally realized that that is very true. I'm still a work in progress, and I'm trying so hard not to be mean to myself. But because I attempted the challenge and I failed, I just kind of like swept it under the rug and didn't want to talk about it because I was beating myself up for it. Which, you know, like, whatever. We've let go of that. And although I full-heartedly love the Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do, I don't want to put myself in that situation again where I'm gonna burn out or I'm gonna fail and then be mad at myself. So then I saw Cheyenne's reading challenge. She called her Cheyenne's Impossible Reading Challenge, but it was definitely a bingo board like this because I definitely stole her bingo board and then put my goals on there, and I had to really, really, really think about the goals that are important to me on my channel. And as a whole, I found that I want to own a library. Not just some books, but a legal library is 1,000 books or more. I want to hit that 1,000 book mark. But I want every single book in my physical library to be a book that I've read and full-heartedly love and could recommend, or just that it has a piece of my soul. This is actually on the bingo board. It's called the Foundation File. I'm gonna go through this list. I'm gonna try to go as quickly as possible, but there are 49 goals on here, so some of them will get more context in later videos. Almost all of these will have later videos, I'm sure. The first one is called, I gave them all like forensic or detective or crime names because although I do like a good rom-com every now and again, I am generally into the more dark and terrifying parts of literature. That's not always true. I love a good book that makes me cry, and I like a good romance. But generally, you know? So I used the darker side of the things that I like to create my names. So the first one is Unsealing Sector 100. And for that, I kind of want to revamp an old series that I had. So I bought this Literature in 30 Seconds or Less, 100 Classics, cut down for the pace of the modern world. And I didn't read them, but I studied the plot, the setting, and different quotes and whatever this page told me, and then I made a short regarding each book in here till we hit about 35 books probably, and then I stopped and never went back to that challenge. I'm not promising that I'm going to do those shorts again, but I think it would be really cool to read these books one at a time. Even if I've already read them, it would be a reread, and that's okay. So I want to read every book in here, even if in that series I made a short, talked about it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not interested in that book. I want to read these 100 classics, and that's going to be my starting point for classics, because classics scare me a lot. I got these maps that I think I'm going to put up over there or over there. Over there is my side of the room. So the next one is called The 50 Jurisdictions, and that is literally to read a book from every single state of the United States, set in every state of the United States. So it's like a cross-country road trip, and I like road trips. Echoes of 100 Years. Let me say that again. Echoes of 100 Years. That is a reading challenge that I kind of stole from Cheyenne, but then changed slightly, tweaked it. Echoes of 100 Years is this reading challenge where I'm going to start keeping track of the setting of my book. Not published, the setting of my book. And I'm going to read 100 different years of literature. So if my book, actually this one is a great one, it has 2 different timelines. This one has 1980, let's say 3, I don't remember for sure, but 1980, let's just say 1983, and then it takes her back to 1886. So then I would have 2 different years already from one book. But I want to read from 100 different years. But we're only talking about the book setting. So if tomorrow a book came out that was set in 1872 and I pick it up, I can count it for 1872. You know, it could be anywhere from like prehistoric times all the way to like 2200 in the future, you know, because sci-fi has a lot of future settings and things like that. So I want to hit 100 years. Lifetime Surveillance 93. I was born in 1993, so I want to read a book published every year starting in 1993. So 93, 94, 95, 96, all the way up to 26, 27, you know, whatever future years. I want to find a 5-star book from all of those years listed, though. This one is really funny. This one's called Evidence I'm Not Okay. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult, but have you ever read a book that just made you numb or made you so angry that you wanted to throw the book and then like stare at a wall and you're like, WTF did I just read? What was this? Okay, I've read that a few times. I love that feeling. I need more of that feeling. So I believe that my goal was to read 20 more like books about like that give me that feeling. Give me that evidence I'm not okay feeling. Okay, the next goal is 26 chapters of chaos. This is simple. This is the alphabet challenge where you have to find a book for every letter of the alphabet at the beginning of the title. So Magnolia Parks would be M. The night we met, so it'd be T for the. Then this one is very diabolical, but I definitely stole this one as well. I'm not going to tell you which ones I stole. I just want you to go check out the other creators' channels. The last one is 15 pages to survive. I wanted everything to be equal. So I originally started with a chapter from each book, but then I decided that some chapters are super long, some are super short, so I want to read the first 15 pages of all of my books and kind of taste test to see if I'm going to continue, if I'm going to like them. We're finally on the second row. 25 rules of the slash zone. So I have made 25, the survival guide checklist. This has 25 horror tropes. And I'm just going to go through them super quickly. I want to read a book that has each of these tropes. So that's 25 books. The bad place. So like the house or hotel or asylum is sentient, malicious, and feeds on its occupants. Sins of the father, generational trauma, family secrets, or inherited curses. Locked room, no signal, total geographical or technological isolation, storm damaged road, dead phone batteries, that type of thing. Those are so cheesy, but I love them. Yeah. Decaying opulence, crumbling old manors, fog-drenched landscapes, families rotting from within. Then slashers, the final girl trope, slasher symphony, a highly structured body count where characters are picked off in creative and gruesome ways. The remote cabin or the summer camp. The sin punishment, so like when you do something wrong, you get butchered next. The masked boogeyman, everyone knows that one. The eldritch truth. Okay, this next category is cosmic, eco, and body mutations. I'm not a huge fan of body horror. I haven't found a body horror book that I like, so maybe give me some recommendations down below. The eldritch truth, ancient entities that drive humans completely insane. Nature fights back, so like an eco horror. I love a good eco horror, but I could always use more. Loss of autonomy, parasites, infections, mutations that cause the body to warp and betray its owner. Deep sea terror, so like the drowning kind. The drowning? I don't think that's what it's called. But deep sea terror, that's one that I've loved some, but I've also hated some. I'm so sorry if you can hear that storm. It's storming real big. Forbidden knowledge, uncovering text transmission or secret history that should have been left alone. Then the next part is folk traditions and small town secrets. Outsider in the village, the harvest sacrifice, the woods are alive, corrupt authority, that one sounds really fun. Techno horror, so like technology and horror, like a sci-fi horror probably. Paranormal and psychological realities, the innocent vessel, so that's like when they use a child. Like usually it's some kind of demon goes into the child, or creepy children who talk to imaginary entities or become conductors for old demons. As a mom, I don't like that one. The gaslight, the protagonist explicitly knows something is wrong, but loved ones insist it's all in her head, his or her head. Oh, I love that. Doppelganger or Skinwalker. Cursed object, deadly survival games. I love a good deadly survival game. So, I want to read all of those. Voices from the Soil. This is to read, I believe I said 50, that feels right. 50 indigenous authors. So it could be Native Americans here in America. It could be an Australian author from Australia. It could be like native to their country. Indigenous authors. So seek out more indigenous authors. Then I simply have Wicked Horror. Sarah from Wicked Reading does a horror bingo reading challenge every single year. I just want to continue to try to conquer that every year. Then the 100 book goals. That goal is to read 100 novellas. Then I have the Closure Protocol. I don't know what series I'm gonna finish because I have commitment issues. She says as she's wearing a wedding ring. I have commitment issues. I tend to be a one and done type of girly with my books. I get too intimidated by series, so I stay away from them. So the Closure Protocol is to finish 25 series. 25 different series. So that could be Magnolia Parks. I haven't started this series, but if I end up liking this book, then I could finish that series. It could also be, let's see, where's this? All of Abby Jimenez's books are interconnected standalones. But this is the next book in her series. And of course I have not read it. There's also Next to You. The first book is Next of Kin, which I've already read. So this is actually the one I'm on, but have I read it? Then I have Out of the Woods. I did not realize that's the second in a series, and the first one is Out on a Limb. So I need to get better at that. I need to finish 25 series. So if that means that I just finish, like this is a 2-book series. This I believe is a 5-book series. This will get me caught up. You know, doesn't matter. As long as I catch up or finish 25 series. Then Booked on the Case. that is just to continue to participate in Alexis's Fully Booked. Alexis Fully Booked Mystery Thriller Reading Challenge. She created a bingo board for mystery thriller books, and I've been doing that this year, and I just want to continue to do that every year that Alexis does that. This one is really, really fun. This one's called The Indie Trench. I don't know when I'm gonna do this, so don't ask, but at some point I want to only read from indie authors or indie presses for an entire month. Like, I want to block out that month and only read indie books or indie publications, because I tend to kind of fall into the hype of books, and generally a good percentage of books, like if they have good publications, then, or like if they're bigger, well-known authors like John Mars, you know, just it's like put her on the map. Then I kind of go for those first, but I want to not forget about like indie authors. I'm going to try really hard to actually start prioritizing indie books. Let's move on to the next row. The Wicked Detour. So this is also Sarah from Wicked Reading. She also started a Read Broader challenge, and of course I jumped on that bandwagon. That is one of my goals, is to read more broadly, not always stay in my lane. I try to broaden my horizons a lot, so I just want to continue to prioritize the Read Broader challenge. Then I have the 24-hour alibi. I tend to really love books that take place in a 24-hour span, so I kind of want to read as many of those books as I can. So my official goal is to read 50 books that take place in a 24-hour span of time. But realistically, I just want to read them all. And then I have The Comfort Zone Breach. This is to read more outside of my comfort zone and not get like scared when someone says, hey, Magnolia Parks is so hyped, you should read it. Or Other Tears is a really great anthology, but you don't read anthologies, Alita. Or you know, just based on the fact that this book is huge, you know. I want to try fantasy, and I really want to search sci-fi, because I think that I could potentially really love sci-fi books if I gave them a chance. So I need to be less afraid of the you know, my comfort bubble, my comfort zone. And I want to read 100 books that are outside of my comfort zone. Then we have Towering Pages, which was originally called I Like Big Books, not cannot lie. But although that's hilarious, you know, I wanted to be more realistic with my channel. So Rock Bottom Girl, this is 502 pages. She big, so I'm scared, so of course I avoid her. I would like to not avoid chunky books just because they're chunky. Then I have Starving the Kindle Monster. Right now I have 186 books on my Kindle, 164 books of which are unread. I would like my first my first goal for Kindle. I mean, ultimately, the ultimate goal is to read every single Kindle book. Come on, let's be for real. But my first starting point for there, since I have 164 books that I haven't read yet, I want to get that number down to 99. Just so I can be like, double digits. Whoop, whoop. And then from there, we can say, oh, I want to finish my entire Kindle TBR. Because I have this tendency, especially on stuff here Kindle Day, to just be like, add to cart, purchase, 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 because they're free. And then they go onto my Kindle, and that's where they die. This one I literally stole. I stole this one and slapped a new name on it and called it mine. So this one is the 500 Suspect Interrogation. And like I said, I'm terrified of anthologies, but I have a couple of short story collections or anthologies. The difference between a short story collection and an anthology has many different authors. A short story collection is usually by the same author. I believe that's the difference, but I have a few. And I want to read 500 short stories. Just count each short story as its own and read 500 of them. I don't know if I'm going to get there or not, because that one terrifies me. I'm not a short story girly, but I want to open up my mind and try. The 12 Pillar Blueprints is to find a new 5-star favorite book in all 12 of the main genres of literature. I have them as horror, thriller and suspense are together, mystery and crime are together, romance, sci-fi, fantasy, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, literary fiction, dystopian and post-apocalyptic, action and adventure, and westerns. And you now know what they are. Alright, we're on the next row. The first one is called The 183 Audio Transcripts. And that's very simple. I have 183 unread audiobooks or unlistened to audiobooks in my collection. My first goal, obviously my main goal is to get that number to 0, but let's be realistic here. I want to get that number down by 100. So essentially I want to get to 83 unread or unlistened to audiobooks, and I don't care what you say, audiobooks count. Audiobooks count. I'm just reading with my ears instead of my eyes. And sometimes I read with my ears and my eyes at the same time because I'm so talented. Okay, the next one is called The Total Subject Tracking. This one used to be called Men Write Too, apparently. Because that's funny. Yeah, no. I look at my shelves and I see a lot of female authors. And there's not really anything wrong with that. But sometimes I forget to seek out male authors. And I want to search for 10 new favorite male authors. So this might mean that I only have to read like 20 books, because in order for them to be a favorite, I have to have at least read 2 books by them, right? But it could also mean that I have to read 100 books before I find 10 new favorite male authors. You see what I'm saying? So it can't just be, oh, the first 10 authors that I read. No. They have to be like my favorite authors, or ones that I would actively be like, oh, I need to pick up that book because they just dropped a new book. Do you see what I'm saying there? You do. You get it. I think I over-explain things sometimes. I'm sorry. It's the teacher in me, okay? The Horror Autopsy Revival. A few years ago, my brother bought me 101 Horror Books to Read Before You're Murdered by Sadie Hartman, Mother Horror. And for a while I was making these incredible vlogs where I was testing the waters to see what types of things I like in my horror novels. I was doing really well with it, and then I stopped and never went back, you know. So this is going to be me going back to the books that I missed in this pack. Maybe restarting those vlogs again. Obviously not restarting because some of them I've read and there are already vlogs out there. But just revamping those vlogs and bringing them back to my channel, or at least reading these books and telling you my thoughts. Charting the 75. Yeah, you heard me right, 75. So, there are 75 subgenres. I told you guys this was a lot. There are 75 subgenres that I want to read. So, let's just quickly bam, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. So, we're going to start with fantasy, which is by far the shortest. Alternate history fantasy. Contemporary fantasy. Dark fantasy. Fairy tale fantasy. Historical fantasy. Magical realism fantasy. And superhero fantasy. Now let's go to horror. There are a couple on here that I don't think I'm gonna like, but you know what? We're testing me. We're gonna see how well I know myself. The first one is body horror, comedy, creepy kids, extreme horror. I'm terrified of this, but I actually already have a book digitally that will fit that, and that's the only reason I kept it. Gothic, hauntings, historical, man-made, monsters, occult, psychic abilities, psychological, and quiet horror. Okay, breathe. The next genre is mystery, and the subgenres are amateur sleuth, bumbling detective, child in peril. It's like when a child's in trouble. There you go. Cozy. I don't like cozy, so I don't know why I'm doing that to myself. Culinary. Disabled. Doctor, detective. Historical. Howdunit. Legal thriller. Legal mystery. Locked room mystery. Paranormal. Police protocol. Private detective. Whodunit. And woman in trouble. Okay, then we have romance, and this subgenre is kind of smaller of the ones I want to try. But there's comedy, contemporary, historical, paranormal, Regency, sci-fi romance. That one sounds great. Romantic suspense, sports. I love a good sports romance. Time travel romance. And Western romance. There are some on here that I would read more than one. Oh, I'm definitely going to read more than one from, but just for the sake of this list. Then, sci-fi is alternate history, alternate/parallel universe, apocalypse or post-apocalypse, biopunk, comedy, Dying Earth, dystopia, immortality, Lost Worlds, mind transfer, mundane sci-fi, robots or AI, science horror, slipstream, soft science fiction, soft science fiction, I guess, is sci-fi that's more focused on the characters. So like a literary sci-fi, if you will. Then space exploration, steampunk, time travel, and utopia. The last section is thriller and suspense. There's action, crime, disaster, forensic, historical, legal, medical, mystery, thriller, psychological, and techno thriller, sorry. Then there's 3 targets, 3 windows. I think going forward, I'm going to start only doing seasonal TBRs because I epically fail TBRs every single month. So maybe if I give myself like a longer period of time to read those books, maybe they'll get read. So the 3 targets, 3 windows is that I need to finish 3 entire seasonal TBRs, you know, like in its entirety before the next seasonal TBR comes out. Then The Unbroken Chain of Custody. This one, I believe I stole 2. This one is basically where you have a series. Pretend that I have all 5 books for the series, and I read this first book and I love it, so then I read the next one and the next one, and I finish the entire series in one go without taking a break with a different book. I think that's going to be terrifying, but I'm going to do it. Okay, then our next one. Our next row, I think there's 2 more rows. There are. Oh my gosh. What am I doing to myself? Okay. The next row is the first 72. So I have 72 hours to start and finish a book. And I want to do that 10 times minimum. Then Going Dark 50. So it's just really where I take time away from filming. I take time to myself to read a book, you know, maybe do a face mask because I really enjoy those, maybe do a hair treatment or take a bath or do something relaxing while I'm like going dark for 50 sessions, you know. Anyways, then there's Simply Matching the Grid. This is Kalani, Simply Me. She does a romance reading bingo every year, and I just want to continue to participate in that and possibly do better than I'm doing this year. Then there's the Foundation Files, which is the first goal we talked about having a library of 1,000 books or more that I've read from, that I've loved. Then we have the 183 transcripts, vocal fingerprinting. This is to go through my entire audiobook collection and see if I own 2 books by the same narrator, but I've never listened to one by that narrator, and taste test that one of their books, or listen to one of the books that they narrate. The 50 serial intakes. Like I said, I'm terrified of series. I want to read 50. That's a lot. I want to read 50 series openers to decide if I'm going to continue with all 50 series or if I'm going to just read one and be done. Then there's the author audit. The author audit is where I'm going to pick 6 of my favorite authors and be so enthralled with their work that I'm going to read everything that they've ever written, and then maybe I could even like rank them in a video or something. Okay, now let's flip this over. We only have 2 more rows, so let's get going. The 7-link chain of custody. This one I also stole from Cheyenne. This is not what I would do because that's too vague, but it's basically reading 7 books that are somehow connected. So say I read The Accidental Pinup, then I could read The Night We Met, and then I could read The Burning Side, and then find 4 more books that have the word the. I'm not going to use the word the because I think that that's kind of a cop-out. That's kind of cheating. I want it to be more difficult than that, but that's kind of essentially the, the lineup of that one. The 1,000-page tracker. This is to read 1,000 pages in 1 week. I feel slightly crazy. I don't know if this is actually going to work out for me because I don't know how many pages I typically read in a week. So this one's going to be a very big stretch, and I am promising you it's not happening anytime soon. Then there's the speculative quarantine. This is just to continue to participate in the Our Fantasy Bingo every year. I'm not doing very good on that one either, but I am halfway attempting it, so I would like to fully attempt it. But then Project Global Sweep, that is to read a book set in each country. And I want it to be by someone that's from there. That's the 183 transcripts, mandatory downtime. So for that, I'm going to listen to my audiobook as I search for a new hobby that I enjoy. My husband got me like a crochet kit because I really wanted to learn to crochet. That was so difficult. I think I tried once for like 2 hours and that was so difficult. So I haven't gone back, but I do really want to make the little bear that he got me that I think it's a fox. I want to go back and finish that. I have a paint by numbers that I see. I have dot to dot collection. I have coloring things. So I have a lot of stuff that I want to full-heartedly try. Diamond painting did not work out for me. That was a mess. But I didn't film it, so you guys didn't know. But that was messy. So I would like to find like a new hobby and maybe film as I'm taking that journey. Okay, then I have the 53 restricted files, which is this list right here. These are the 53 forbidden relationship types that I want to read from. Don't judge me. Okay, so enemies to lovers, rival families, best friend sibling, which I already know that I love, sibling's best friend, best friend's ex, best friend or ex's sibling, widower and late spouse's sibling, widow or widower and late spouse's best friend, family friend who was always off limits, parents' best friend, childhood rivals, former so like foster siblings, adoptive siblings, or step siblings. I said don't judge me, okay? Divorce brings unrelated step families together. Parents are bitter enemies. boss and employee, CEO and intern, professor and grad student, bodyguard and client, celebrity and bodyguard, nanny and single parent, lawyer and opposing counsel, detective and witness, detective and suspect or former suspect, royal guard and royalty. I told you guys, don't judge me, okay? Therapist, colleague, and family or family friend. Therapist, colleague / family friend. Doctor and former patient or current patient. Then there's business competitors, detective and criminal, prosecutor and defense attorney, judge and lawyer, bounty hunter and outlaw, assassin and bodyguard, assassin and target, witch and witch hunter, ghost and a living person. Although I have read one of those and I didn't like it, but I would be willing to try again. Vampire and vampire hunter. See, some of these don't even sound like my type of books, but there's something about them that just sound so alluring to me. There's cursed lovers, human and AI, human and android, human and alien, clone and original, time traveler and past. So I don't know if that's like time traveler and you in the past. I don't know. Time traveler in the future. Scientist and test subject. Spaceship captain and a prisoner. Married to someone else. Pirate and a naval officer. Treasure hunter and a rival. Explorer and local guide. Rival team captains, and a survivor and a person tied to the disaster or tragedy. And there's re-examining the evidence, and this one I'm so excited for. So because my main goal is to have a library of 1,000 books that I've read, that I've loved, I want to start re-examining the evidence that I love them. So I want to give myself permission to reread my entire collection. As long as it takes to reread every single book that I've already read, that I claim that I love. And if I actually love it, then I get to keep it. But if I don't, then I have to unhaul it. Oh. Okay, our last one. So tracing patient 0 is to pick 30 authors that I've read from that I enjoy and read their debut novels. The 50 viral strands, that's to not let the hype scare me away from reading. So like Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I've had this book, well, probably a few months now. But I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Like, this is weird for me. I usually, when books are super hyped, I get scared and I think I'm not gonna like them. So then I stay away from them. Even if I buy them intending to read them, I just like, keep pushing them away. So I would like to read 50 books that I think are overly hyped. Then we have the evidence cart audit. That is literally just to read every single book on my physical TBR cart. This one's called The Case of the Letter File. So basically, I'm gonna pick a random letter from the wheel, and I am going to, whatever letter it lands on, I have to read every book that starts with that letter. So if I get a W, it's like when you disappeared, my roommate, you know. If I get a T, that's gonna be scary because I have the Lost Ones, the Suicide House, the Burning Side, the Night We Met. But it's not just my physical books, it's also my digital collection. That might be what kills me, so let's go random letter generator. Letter wheel, so there's actually a wheel right here. Okay. See what it gets me. G. The 100 visual manifests. This is to read 100 book to movie or book to TV show adaptations, but watch or read the book, then watch the movie, and maybe compare them on my channel, maybe not. I haven't decided yet, but that's something that's been super intriguing to me, and I just haven't really started it. Then the anthology Fallout. This one I definitely stole from Cordy. Yeah, I did. It's basically to read an entire anthology. I'm thinking mine's going to be Other Tears, an inclusive anthology, and read the entire thing and then go through. This one is by Jennifer McMahon. So I have to then go find a Jennifer McMahon book and read that book. Then there's like Haley Piper, Taryn Badu, Larissa Glasser, and I have to find every author that has a short story in here and read a longer novel by that author. And then target profile A to Z. This is another alphabet challenge, but this one is focused more on the author's name. I don't know if I want to do first names or last names, but like Josh, that's JW, so that doesn't help. Josh, Emma, or it would be Lucy Mallerman. I haven't decided that far ahead. But these are all of my reading challenges for this foreseeable future that we might have content on now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. We're not usually this chat. Okay, no, I like to chat. I like to talk a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you are going to be participating in any kind of reading challenge, let me know in the comments below, or let me know which one of these are the most diabolical goals and which one you're most excited to see me participate in. I will see you later. Bye.